I was not finding electrical engineering that interesting. So as for the plans, I had nothing. Like, I just felt so demotivated, right? If you're not taking interest in anything, even when I was like scoring good marks, but it just felt like kya hi hoga marks ke we kinds. And yeah, that. Hello, I'm Prachi Kotiyal and I am from Chamoli, Uttarakhand. And yeah, I'm a electrical engineering graduate, graduated in 2020. My father is a government employee and my mother is a housewife. And we are a family of six. I have like four siblings. And all of us were like science students. And my sister is doing medical right now. And my brother is like working with a edutech startup. I'll be interning with Performics as a trainee analyst soon after the 3 months marketing launchpad program with Kraftshala. I was in a boarding school from class 6 to 12. And after that, I got into engineering. I won't say that it was an active choice that I made. It was more my parents than me. But yeah, it was electrical engineering. And in the second year, core electrical is not where my interest lies. Like, I couldn't see myself doing it for the rest of my life. So, in one of the workshops I attended from School Kanya, I came across this concept of digital marketing, and it seemed like very interesting to see the technicalities behind all the ads that we see on Instagram and Facebook. They feel like so targeted, right? So yeah, that seemed very interesting, and I started researching more about topics. I was looking for marketing courses. So there are a number of marketing courses out there, right? When I was shown the Kraftshala ad, and upon looking at the Instagram profile and all the testimonials that you guys have on the YouTube, the interest was, I would say, instant. And to research more about Kraftshala, I reached out the students which were in MLP1, and yeah, they helped me understand how the course really work, and as a fresh graduate, will I be facing like any problems and all of that. And yeah, as for my family, I would say marketing is not something that any one of us have ventured into before. So yeah, there was doubts. Everyone has their own questions. Coming from a middle class Indian family, the tag of government jobs and the stability of the job, it's always there. So with a very different career choice that I was making, like it's a very new job, a very new sector to our parents as well. So yeah, when those questions arise, I wasn't able to like answer them at that moment. But as they saw me during the course of the program and how involved I was in it, they also became sure with it. And also, after the lockdown and everything happened, I became so lethargic. I was doing like nothing. I was just sleeping and binging. So, Kraftshala seemed like a good place to break that habit. And yeah, it definitely delivered on that front. So, the first thing from a big introvert, I always felt like uneasy in social settings and interactions. And I remember the first module interview that we had that was for SEO. And I was so nervous throughout the process. And in the nervousness, I could not frame the answers very well. But I could see when the Google Ads interview happened, then the Facebook interview happened, I could see myself improving with it. And then the mock interview happened, and I was sure that I can do good. Like all those learnings that we learned with Sumona in human skills training, so somehow become your second nature. You don't have to like think about them that now I have to point these things out. Now I have to use the SAR, the situation action reserve format. They just come naturally to you, and yeah, it becomes fun. So the first thing I would say is everyone was in the program because of their choice. Like no one was forced into it. And the mentors, I would say, the experts that came on board and everyone that we were meeting, everyone was doing it because of interested in it, right? They were interested in solving our doubts. So to learn from them was really interesting, to say the least. To see what the thought process is when they are looking at the problem itself. And yeah, if we were working harder during the course of the programs, I would say our mentors were working even harder than us. I remember Sumona putting comments on our documents or our assignments even at 12 in the night. So that was really, I would say, inspiring that those guys are doing so much for us. And yeah, there was no gap in the theory and the practical part. Everything that we were learning, the program, we were using it in our projects as well, and so when you're reading about it and when you're listening about the things, obviously there will be doubts, but when you're actually working on it, more doubts will come, more whys you have to answer. Most important part was we were given the answers to all our whys, and it's really difficult to achieve that, right? To answer everybody questions, and yeah, so I'm really grateful for that. So actually, when we first came into the program, obviously it was a little awkward with all the peoples coming from all over the countries and with different level of experiences. But then we were divided into groups, and I would say that's where it all began. We started knowing each other, and I was lucky enough to have these amazing people in my all of the three groups that I went through in the course of the program. Everyone had so many different experiences in terms of their courses they have done before or the works they have done before. I would say that was really interesting to see. We all were learning the same things, but coming back to the groups, it was interesting to see that how differently we have picked information from those topics, and now we are using that for our project. And we got to meet a lot more people in breakout rooms and have these deep conversation in human skills training. That was something really mind-blowing, I would say. The friends I have made in the program, as we were working on multiple projects at once, and we were having these conversations about the difficult, emotional things as well. So the bonding got so strong in only 2 months, I would say. And I'm super excited to meet all these people in real life. And also, the ecosystem that Kraftshala brings with all the MLP1 students, always there to guide us, pinging them on LinkedIn, and they were ready for a call. It was really sweet of them, even when we know that they're working and they're really busy, but they still made time for us. And yeah, that was really special, and I'm really thankful. Yeah, Facebook ads project, and even for the integrated media strategy. I worked on a Spotify project, and Dinesh was the one heading that. Firstly, to work on such an interesting project, I had real fun while doing it. And yeah, the one thing that Dinesh used to say was there is no right or wrong while we were doing projects. So he always used to motivate us to make more mistakes when we are doing the project, so we have more to discuss when we are getting the feedback from the experts. And every mistake that we made, or say a new idea that we presented, it was explained to us why it will work, why it won't work, and all the technicalities around it. And for the Google Ads interview, I was having the module interview with Himanshu, and in between the interview, I was losing the thought process. I was losing the thread on which I was answering, and becoming a little disoriented. So he had been seeing that how I can answer or how I could frame that question if I'm facing some difficulty, how I can present the answer with an example to make it more understandable. The Excel trainings that we had with Dheeraj, all of us have used the basic Excel for some of our work, but the classes that we had with Dheeraj, oh man, can I say, we were asking him the same question for 4 or 5 times, and he was so patient while answering all our doubts. And to learn that much in just 2 months, that was really mind-blowing. I'm sure we'll be using it extensively when we get into internships. So I'm really excited about that. So watching all the testimonial videos of the seniors on YouTube, I was sure that it will help me a lot. But there was a thought, that it will be secondary to the program. The primary thing would be the functional, the SEO, the Facebook part of it. But when I joined the program and I'm sitting for 10 hours per day for the program, I understood that how important it was to learn time management and stress management and all of that. The one module I would say was very helpful during the human skills training was the difficult conversation at work. So Kraftshala's tagline is education that gets you hired, right? But to be honest, it's more than that. You guys were helping us with what we will be experiencing in our workplaces as well, and how to tackle those problems as well. So the module typical conversation at work, I could utilize it in personal life as well. And when I was working in groups and I want to like present point or something like that. So yeah, it really helped me with that as well. So yeah, the placement process, it really was emotional to say the least. The stress levels were off the roof with like different companies coming in every day with the assignments they were giving. There was a lot to consider. The only thing that motivated me was all of us were in it together. The experts were like constantly there. Each one of us was given the attention when the interview process started happening. So there was one interview that I gave, but I was offered a totally different position. So I got a little confused in the process and didn't get selected for that. And even a lot more interviews were lined up after that. And I got a little demotivated. And all the friends that I made in the program saw that. Even Sumona reached out to me saying she is there if I want any kind of help. And yeah, the people who have more experience with interviews and placement processes, they reach out to me and say like, this is a very usual thing that happens, that you get offered a different job from the JD that was presented to you. So yeah, to get that kind of support from the friends and even the experts, it was like really amazing. Finally, when the Performics interview happened, all the things that I learned in functional as well as human skills, I was able to realize them in a very natural and very organic manner, I would say. Like, it didn't feel forced. So that really exciting, I would say. So the 12 weeks were exciting because even while I was studying about all these topics, I was enjoying with it. And not only the practical part, but theory as well, interacting with all these experts and to see how the thought process really goes and what all I should be expecting when I'll finally be stepping in the corporate world. Everyone I met was so inspiring. Sumona, Kajal, Resham, and then Nesta, to meet such amazing women and see how I should be conducting myself during the interviews and even in the conversation. I learned a lot, to say the least. In 12 weeks, just I still cannot like wrap my head around the amount of learning that I have done. It was a experience I would cherish for life, I would say. So the first thing I would say is just trust the process and ask as many questions as you can. If you have some doubt, if you're reading something and you're not able to visualize how it will play out in a professional setting, just ask the experts. And just as Isha would mention, just become a self-learning machine. So yeah, digital marketing is a field that is changing day by day, if not by hour. So yeah, just keep that in mind and be curious.